Okay, so now let's talk about managing client expectations. We talked a little bit about the homeowner's perspective before, but here's some tips that I use to help the homeowners to understand the home construction process. The first is to realize that their house is a prototype. You got to be careful with this. You got to explain it in the right way. But, you know, their Mercedes went through probably, whatever, I don't know, 500 prototypes, right? Before Mercedes-Benz put that car on the market, they designed it, they test drove it, they redid it again, they redid it again. You're going to build their custom home once. So it's basically a prototype, right? No one has ever built that home. Even if they went and saw another home that you built and they're like, oh, we want this one, it's never the same, right? Every project that you build is unique and different. So it's important for the client to recognize that. And to recognize that unlike Mercedes-Benz, we can't go out and test drive the car, find out that, you know, we had problems with the alternator and then make the changes. We've got one chance to build this house. And not only do we only have one chance to build the house, you know, we really don't even know what we're building because we know the plans are going to change. Sometimes the homeowners don't know that or are willing to accept that. But how, I mean, you can't make it any harder than that, you know? That we've got this one chance to build something that we don't even know what we're dealing with, and we don't even know because they're going to change the plans. So by explaining that to the homeowner, they hopefully have a better understanding about what we go through, or what you go through as builders in trying to put together their custom home. Another thing that I love to talk about is something called the Homeowners Emotional Roller Coaster. Have any of you read the book called Managing the Emotional Homeowner? It's by a guy named David Lupberger. He's a colleague of mine. He actually coaches with me with the same organization that I work with. So he put this together, and this is in his book. And I love this chart. I pass it out to all my clients, and I utilize it all the time. And I tell my clients, look, this process of building a home is going to be ups and downs. And I can send this to you, by the way, as well. You can take a picture if you want. David's okay with that. But I can send it to you as well. And they kind of get it at the beginning, but they have to be reminded of it all the time and to realize that the process is different. So like my Santa Luz guy, you know, we've just finished framing, and he's like on, you know, cloud nine because he can finally see his house after, you know, this is 2 years now. He bought his lot 2 years ago. So he's over the moon because we're right here. We're right here at framing. We just set the windows. So he's like, oh, God, I love the house, and it's coming together. It's looking so great. So I sent him this last week, and I said, now, Brian, I just want to warn you, we're about ready to start the downward spiral, you know? It looks like we got a lot done in these last 2.5 months, but this next month and a half, 2 months, it's going to be terrible. Because first off, we're going to spend weeks roughing everything in. You're going to keep showing up at the job site. You're going to go, there's nothing happening. What's going on here? You know, they don't understand it. I said, then we'll start putting drywall on, and you'll start to kind of see some, although you really already see the walls. But then we're going to have to sand it. We're going to have to, you know, I said, so by the time we get done, you're going to be just thinking that we're not getting anywhere. And that'll be, you know, sometime into November, probably right around Christmas time. I said, but then at that point, then we'll start with your trims, you know, and finishes, and then it'll start, you know, coming up and things will start looking better. So, but I love this chart. It works so well to really help manage that client's expectations. So another thing with managing client expectations is construction schedules. So I love to say that the minute that you print a construction schedule, it's out of date. The minute you print it, it's out of date. And what I do as an owner's rep, a little something that I'll do at my introductory meetings, kind of freaks out the builders sometimes, is you probably at your presentation, you give your package and you have your budget and you have your schedule, right? And so what the homeowners, so they do right, they look right to the bottom line, the budget, and then they flip forward on the schedule and they see when they're going to be in their house. So what I do is I say, okay, well, you know, that's great. You've got them moving in on November 15th. And then in front of the builder, I'll turn to the client and I'll say, I'll bet you any amount of money you're not going to be in your house on November 15th. And they look at me like, what? You know, and they look at the builder, and the builder's like, and I said, you know, it might be before, it might be after, but it's not going to be November 15th. There's just way too many changes and things that are going to happen along the way. And, you know, I think we've hired the right builder. He's going to do everything he can to get you in, but you just can't imagine everything that's going to happen between now and then. And right away, it just shatters that expectation. You know, if you tell them November 15th, they're already planning Thanksgiving dinner in their new house, right? And this way, it shatters that expectation, so you don't have to deal with that, and that they understand that it's a dynamic process. So that's what I love about a cloud-based schedule, is that it's always changing. I don't print schedules out anymore. I just send my clients to Buildertrend. And every time they get on it, it's different, because I'm updating the schedule like weekly. And they start to realize that. And they go, oh, okay, well, a schedule is a dynamic living being. It changes all the time. When are we going to be moving in this week, you know? And it just changes. It's part of the process.